There's a lot of ugly truths about humanity, and I believe that one of the biggest and ugliest is that victims, the ones who've already suffered, are often blamed, questioned, and picked apart more than the people who hurt them. We live in a world where the victims stand on trial while perpetrators walk free. They're clothed in denial and protected by silence and shielded by people who don't want to face their own reflection. Of course, the truth is uncomfortable. It makes people squirm. It makes them look inward. And deep down, some people know they are guilty of the very same darkness that you are trying to expose. They've done it themselves, or they enabled someone who has, and they can't face that truth. So instead, they turn the spotlight on you. They question your story, your pain, and your right to speak on your story. They call you bitter, dramatic, and attention seeking. Anything to silence your truth, anything to protect their comfort. But when you call out darkness, it shakes something in those who still live in it. It exposes their shadows, and people would rather stay blind in the dark than see themselves clearly as they are. You start to realize that a lot of people walking around have the same mindset as abusers. They may not raise their hand, but they'll use their words, their judgment, and their silence to wound you all the same. It's wild that people can watch someone speak on their pain, and instead of empathy, they'll offer you an interrogation like, why are you still talking about this? Why can't you just let it go? But if you've ever been violated, if someone ever stripped you of your peace, your dignity, and your safety, wouldn't you want to speak up? Wouldn't you want to make sure that it never happens to someone else? The truth is, they don't want you to speak. Because when you do, their own guilt becomes too loud to ignore. Because in your truth, they see a mirror, and that mirror does not lie. Still, even in all that truth, I don't believe abusers deserve to be abused. I don't believe that hate should be met with more hate, because that's not justice. That's a cycle. Accountability, yes. Consequences, absolutely. But cruelty, no. Because when we face hate with hate, we just create more of what hurt us in the first place. And that's exactly how generational trauma survives. Through unhealed hands, passing pain around like a family heirloom. People keep projecting their wounds, trying to control others because they lost control of themselves a long time ago. It starts in one home and it spreads to another, and before you know it, the whole community is walking around operating from pain they never dealt with. And when you start questioning somebody's pain, when you look at survivors and ask, why are you still talking about it? That's your programming speaking. That's generations of denial talking through you. Because people have been taught that silence equals strength, that sweeping it under the rug makes it disappear. But it doesn't. It festers and it multiplies, and it creates the very world that we're trying to heal from. The truth is, it's not weakness to speak out. It's power. It's reclaiming what was stolen. It's standing in the light after years of being buried in darkness. And maybe if enough of us start to see that, if enough of us stop confusing accountability with punishment and stop calling truth tellers troublemakers and start listening, we might finally break this cycle. Because healing does not start with pretending. It starts with the truth. It starts with reflection, and it starts when we stop walking in our darkness and start facing it head on. That's when we evolve. That's when we heal, and that's when generational curses end. I appreciate you guys if you made it to the end of this, and I will holler at you guys on the next go.